Today on Studio One, there are many things that must come together before someone hits the big time. We'll show you how scouts look for the next star. Also, they're big, loud, and powerful. We'll tell you what goes on behind the scenes at a monster truck rally. And a sluggish economy is creating a tight job market. We'll tell you what group is having the most trouble finding work.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hi everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Monty Cashel.
And I'm Carrie Versdahl.
We have a lot of interesting topics to cover today, and one of them is about hearing loss and how to deal with that. We have someone who's going to come on and tell us all about hearing aids. There's so many different things that go along with that, and often there are many people who have hearing problems but go undiagnosed.
Right. I'm sure many people out there know of someone. I know of a few people that have hearing problems, and it's kind of...
It's usually the friends and family that notice more than they do, having to say things over and over again, so they get... my father's like that.
Yes, turn down the TV a little.
So we'll talk a little bit about that. Also coming up on the show, the No Child Left Behind Act has sparked a lot of controversy with educators. We'll tell you why some say it's making it harder for kids to learn.
Also, expectant mothers have more to think about than simply having a baby. Coming up, we'll find out what parents should know about the possibility of birth defects.
But first, here's today's news with Sarah Spencer.
Thanks, Monty and Carrie. Secretary of State Colin Powell defended the administration's actions prior to the September 11th attacks and the war on terror. Powell went before a Senate Appropriations Subcommittee on Thursday and refuted statements made by former counterterrorist advisor Richard Clark. Powell says there was no moment where the Bush administration could have connected the information to prevent the 9/11 attacks. In Clark's testimony before the 9/11 Commission, he insisted the attacks could have been prevented. He told families of the victims that he and the government share responsibility in the failure to prevent the tragedy. The White House says Clark's testimony contradicts positive statements he made earlier about Bush's efforts to prevent terrorism. Former Democratic frontrunner Howard Dean officially endorsed Senator John Kerry's bid for the White House Thursday. The two spoke together at a George Washington University rally. During the primary, Dean accused Kerry of being a Washington insider who failed to stand for Democratic principles. Kerry and Dean say they have now moved past their differences. Binge drinking and substance abuse are problems facing many young adults. Before college even begins, some of these people have been to rehab and are working to stay sober. Some colleges are trying to help these students recover by providing them with dorms where they can live together. The goal of these dorms is to give the students a place where they can avoid the pressures of alcohol and drugs and stay in school. At some universities, students will also be able to take courses on leading a sober lifestyle and be part of support groups.
To somehow provide them with an environment where it's assured that they're not going to be exposed or invited, at least in the resident hall, to participate in drinking, that seems to me to be a pretty good idea.
The number of schools offering dorms for students who have gone through rehab is still small. Some colleges have received federal grants to help with the cost of setting up a dorm for these students. The sunscreen of the future could perhaps contain an unlikely ingredient, DNA. Scientists at the Boston School of Medicine found that a certain DNA fragment can repair and prevent skin damage from harmful UV rays. The DNA penetrates the skin, triggering repair enzymes that help protect and heal. This sunscreen would have a significant impact on people with fair skin or other people who are at risk for skin damage from the sun. The research is still at an early stage, and much more work needs to be done before this lotion hits stores. For people of all ages, the current job market is a tough one, but for many teenagers, finding a job can be especially difficult. Of the 2 million jobs lost in the past year, more than half were lost by Americans 25 and younger.
Can I take this outside for you? Thank you. Have a nice day.
Teenagers face many challenges when trying to find a job. The current weak economy has forced adults to seek the low-skill, low-wage jobs teens are usually able to occupy. Immigration flow has also increased more competition at the bottom of the job market. Teenagers find it is hard to compete with their busy school schedules and need for flexibility.
The difficult part is finding flexible hours and finding someone that wants to deal with high school and time off and everything.
Teenagers with adult responsibilities also feel the harsh realities of the challenging job market.
I search the job papers and it's hard, especially when you got a kid and you're my age. I got a kid to support, I got rent to pay, I got bills to pay, just like everyone else.
With the job market for teens getting increasingly difficult, high schools like this one in Grand Forks, North Dakota, are working with the State Job Service to bring more opportunities to students.
We team up together and we have three of us who are stationed right in the high schools, and we have career centers that we provide students information on the job openings.
The Career Center also teaches students ways to market themselves to employers, along with other strategies to earn money.
Whatever kinds of things that you can do to get out there and make your own money, childcare, babysitting, those types of things too. So we encourage them to be creative.
And creativity may be key as teens face growing competition for jobs once reserved for them. This is Lindsay Turner reporting for Studio One News.
The job market for teenagers is expected to decline even further over the summer. And that's news for now. Monty and Carrie?
Thanks a lot, Sarah. Well, I don't know about our viewers out near Portland, Oregon, how nice and warm it's been out there lately, but here has just been beautiful.
It has.
It's
it really
gorgeous
has.
Outside.
Everything's melting, kind of nice. Don't want to wash my car though, it'll get dirty.
Yeah,
again.
very quickly get dirty.
Well, why don't we go to BJ Ison at the Regional Weather Information Center and find out if the snow is going to keep on melting.
Well, Monty and Carrie, you're right. The snow will continue to melt throughout much of the country, the northern half that is anyway, but we are seeing great weather across the country for washing your car, even though it's a little sloppy in some places, but we are going to see great conditions here throughout the rest of the week. Let's take a look at those almanac conditions for our viewing areas, and as you can see in the cities throughout North Dakota, the average temperatures for this time are just above 40 degrees, 44 for Minot and Fargo, 42 in Grand Forks, 47 in Bismarck, but all those places are seeing temperatures well above those temperature marks. And as we move through Portland, average temperature for them is 58, St. Paul 50, Minneapolis 49, and Winnipeg 2 degrees Celsius. And all those places are also seeing temperatures well above that mark. And here are those high temperatures for your departure from normal. As you can see, much of the central sections of the U.S. are anywhere from 0 to 10 degrees or more. Some places seeing 20, 25 degrees above average, so very nice spring-like conditions out there. Otherwise, low temperatures across the nation as well, seeing those above average too. So very nice spring-like conditions out there, and we just can't say anything better than that. Otherwise, current jet stream, it looks like what we have here is we have a low-pressure trough forming in the jet stream off the west coast. And what's going to happen with this is we are going to see storm systems continue to stir up right there and form, and then those will be tracking with the jet stream across the northern section of the U.S. And we're already seeing this pattern begin. We have a low pressure system moving across the northeast at this time, and it looks like the next low pressure system is already forming and moving its way into the country throughout this week. But it looks like high pressure pushing those out, pushing behind those, but this pattern will continue to persist throughout the next couple of weeks, where we are watching those storm systems form right off the west coast and continuing to spread across the nation with those spring thunderstorms. So with that, here's your Studio One weather, here's your jet stream, your forecast for it, and it looks like a high pressure system is going to continue to dominate much of the south, but we are going to see those storm tracks off to the north. Here's that Studio One Weather IQ question for you. What type of light becomes visible when all the colors of the visible light spectrum are combined? Monty and Carrie will have the answer to that question and your local forecasts all coming up in the second half of the show.
Thanks, BJ. I'm not quite sure about that one.
There's quite a bit of choices there with the different types of light.
I didn't know that there was.
Yeah.
I'm not a light expert, so.
We'll leave that to the weather team.
Right.
We'll have to figure that out
Sounds
in the next half. Well, let's go now to Greg with sports.
Thanks, Monty and Carrie. In the NBA, the Western Conference has owned the East. So far this season, the East has won just 37% of its games against the West. With the odds stacked against them, the Indiana Pacers look to win a big game against the Dallas Mavericks. We'll pick it up near the end of the first. Pacers up 3, and check out 7-6. Sean Bradley cleaning up for the Mavericks with the slam. Indiana gets set to inbound the ball to finish off the quarter, but Jawan Howard gets the pass and nails the 3, making sure Dallas is up 2 after 1. It would be a different story in the second half, however, with the Pacers fighting to be up by 2 in the closing seconds, finding Reggie Miller in the corner, and you can't let that happen. Pacers win 103-99. Big matchup out west, Sacramento and the Lakers. Lakers flash their excellence early as Kobe feeds Karl Malone for the lay-in and the foul, putting the Lakers up 7. The Lakers would cruise in this one. Check out Kobe, so quick. Let's watch him in slow motion with the kiss off the glass as the Lakers pull within 2.5 games of the Kings with a big win, 115-91. While the Lakers are red hot, winning 8 of their last 10, LA's hockey team is starting to fall out of the playoff picture with just 3 wins in their last 10 games. The LA Kings look to right their sinking ship Wednesday night in Vancouver. Pick this one up for you in the first as well. And the Canucks threatening with some sweet passing as Pat Cook slaps in the rebound. 1-0 Vancouver. Kings look to strike back in the second with Trent Klatt. 1 try, no good. Second try right off the post. Vancouver still up 1 at that point, and the Kings looking for another opportunity in the third. Anson Carter puts it on net, but is denied. Canucks win 1-0 as the Kings' woes continue. Let's stay in Canada with Dallas and Edmonton. The Oilers up 3-2 under a minute in regulation. Last gasp for Dallas, and Brendan Morrow answers the team's prayers with a goal, forcing overtime. Less than 2 to play in OT. Dallas again looking to strike. Bill Guerin is centered right in front of the net, punches it in as the Stars come from behind in the win, 4-3. Now it's time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question. We're going to test your NBA knowledge today. We want to know who is the youngest player to score 50 points in an NBA game. We'll have that answer as well as some more sports a little later on. Monty and Carrie?
Thanks a lot, Greg. A classic comedy is getting a touch-up from Tom Hanks. We'll preview his newest movie, The Lady Killers.
Also, birth defects are the leading cause of infant mortality. The prevention of this problem starts before children are even born. Next, we'll talk with someone who counsels parents about genetic disorders.
Need to plan an entire conference? Want to provide your employees with professional training and development? The Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota provides quality programs and services for career enhancement. Whether you want to attend educator workshops or need a certificate for your profession, the Division of Continuing Education can help you achieve success. Contact the Division of Continuing Education today and let us meet your professional needs. The School of Engineering and Mines at UND has a long history of preparing students for successful careers. Through small classes and faculty involvement, students have unique opportunities to gain hands-on experience. Here, students launch a weather balloon to test a remote imaging device destined for Earth orbit. Students can also become involved in wind energy and fuel cell projects, design, build, and race a Formula One car, or even develop a camera that will generate agricultural images from the International Space Station. Find out for yourself how you can get involved at UND School of Engineering and Mines. The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
1 in every 33 babies is born with some form of a birth defect. While there is no definite cure for defects, there is hope. Geneticist John Martsolf is here to tell us more about birth defects and genetic disorders. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
You're quite welcome.
Well, first off, what is a genetic disorder?
Well, a genetic disorder is a disorder that is passed from parent to child or from two parents who carry an abnormal gene and end up with two abnormal genes in their offspring. So it's a disorder carried by the genes rather than something secondary to the environment.
What types of birth defects then are caused by genetic disorders?
Well, for example, there's a dwarfing syndrome called achondroplasia, which can be secondary to genes. Marfan syndrome, which is tall stature and heart problems that Some people think Abraham Lincoln had is a genetic disorder. Phenylketonuria, which is screened for in the newborn nursery before the children leave, is also a genetic disorder. So there's all kinds of structural things and metabolic that are genetic.
How are genetic or disorders discovered then?
Well, you mean how do we find out they have them?
Right.
Well, one of the things is everybody, all newborns in North Dakota are screened for at least 5, and there's increasing it now to a different increasing number to maybe 32 at some point. And so they screen them, and many people are picked up through screening in the newborn period. Others are picked up because they've come in to see a geneticist or their physician, and they have concern about a metabolic problem, and the diagnosis is made by examining them.
Is there any way then to predict any birth defects before the child is born?
There are. For example, women that are of advanced maternal age, which is usually considered over 38 or 39, can have an amniocentesis done, which is taking fluid from the pregnant uterus about 15 to 16 menstrual weeks, and you can look at the chromosomes in the cells that the fetus puts off into the amniotic fluid, and you can actually make prenatal diagnosis that way. You can also look at the fluid and look and see if there's an increase in alpha-fetoprotein, which is a chemical put off by a failure of the tube to close, and that can be picked up prenatally also.
Well, what is done after a birth defect is discovered?
Well, it depends. If we look at after delivery, if you do the newborn screen and find somebody that has phenylketonuria, then you put them on a special diet and prevents the menstrual retardation and the other complications that occur secondary to the abnormality. If you happen to do prenatal diagnosis and then pick up a child that has an abnormality that way, then it's a discussion with the family and the couple as to what they wish to do with that information and how they wish to proceed.
So we're talking a lot about infants and children. Are infants the only ones that are affected?
No, there are some disorders that have their onset in adulthood. And the classic example is Huntington's disease, which is a disease where the people who have it deteriorate neurologically. They get abnormal movements, their ability to do executive function decreases, their ability to balance their checkbook decreases, and that's a gene that they had at the time of conception, but it doesn't actually manifest itself until adulthood.
How do you educate parents then on their children when they do have a birth defect?
Well, we sit down and talk to them, and that's what genetic counseling is about, is talking to parents, explaining what their child has, what the chances of it recurring, and then giving them some ideas to what's happened with other children with the same thing, and kind of give them some guidance to other parents that they can talk to, and then special evaluation centers and programming that they can get their children in to help them do the best they can.
What should people be aware of within their family history?
Well, they should go back and talk to their grandparents and see what's in the family. You know, heart disease can run in families. They should go back and see if there's an instance of losing a lot of pregnancies or children with birth defects that are born, and just ask about what's occurred in the family, and that gives them some idea as to what their risk might be. And then the other thing to do is to, you know, not necessarily on the first date, but talk to them about what's occurring in the spouse-to-be.
All right. So does the parent's age play a role in this process?
Yes. Advanced maternal age, we mentioned a little bit before, with the mother reaching after 37, 38, and it's an upswing after that. About 1% chance of having a child with a chromosome abnormality, Down syndrome in particular, at 38, 39. By hit 40, it's about 5%. Hit 45 is about 10%. With the father, as his age advances, there are also some failure of the chromosomes to separate, but they also can have spontaneous changes occur in the genetic information at about a 1% risk as they pass 45.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
You're quite welcome.
Some really interesting information with us.
You're quite welcome.
Coming up, hearing loss is not usually inherited, yet many people suffer from it as they age. We'll talk to someone about what you can do to prevent hearing loss. Also, getting discovered is one way aspiring movie actors and actresses make it to the big screen. We'll look at how one agency helps up-and-coming stars in this lengthy process.
University of North Dakota. Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
A retelling of the 1955 comedy film The Lady Killers features Oscar winner Tom Hanks. Hanks plays a professor who plots a heist. He handpicks a group of so-called professionals to help. They need to tunnel underground, so they rent a room from an old, unsuspecting church lady. They pose as a classical music ensemble and say they need to practice in her basement. The plot gets tricky when the old lady upstairs catches on to their plan.
Anytime the audience can honestly sit down and not know what to expect next, you're mining something that is that's as important as that's a secret formula.
The film incorporates animal action by training a dog to play dead while wearing a gas mask. Gathering instruments from that time period was hard. All of the violins were made from scratch or taken from existing instruments. The film opens in theaters nationwide March 26th. Now it's time to take a look at the events happening in your area. Many people dream of becoming big stars or models. The chance to shine has opened the door for many as talent agencies scout for new faces.
A perfect fit can be many things. A favorite hat, a person in a job, or even a piece to a puzzle. These people are waiting for the chance to be a perfect fit. A talent agency has come to town, and Jody Horn is hoping for a chance of fame.
I'm here because I heard about this on the radio, and I thought it'd be a neat opportunity to come and see what it was all about.
It's not much of an audition, but rather a short interview. Jody's competition comes in all sizes.
We start at age 4, just because with the process that we do, kids usually need to be 4 to have the right amount of confidence and energy level.
My dreams have always been to be an actor.
It's all about getting a call back. Face after face, the Scouts are always looking for diversity. When a glimpse of a star is spotted, one more card from the deck will vanish. It can be nerve-wracking.
I'm excited. I'm a little bit nervous.
It's finally Jody's turn, and she happens to be one of the lucky ones.
I feel really good that I got a card. I didn't get sent home. I feel good, and I'm excited to see what happens next.
Now Jody has the chance to make a bigger break. She can meet other agents and Marcus to shine in the spotlight. For those who are inspired to model or act, next time could be very soon for the cards to turn in their favor. With photographer Frodo Tilden, I am Jenna Lund reporting for Studio One.
Jody has modeled before. She is hopeful for the opportunity to do it again and see what other companies can offer her. Life on the road can be tiresome, even if what you're driving can crush everything else on the freeway. Coming up in our Studio One Spotlight, we'll tell you what motivates one driver of a monster truck. That story plus news, sports, and the weather in the next half hour of Studio One.
North Dakota has been home to many successful entrepreneurs. George Bull and his partners found value in farina, the whitest part of wheat, and created cream of wheat. Patrick Haggerty is the founder of one of the nation's high-tech giants, Texas Instruments. And Raymond Rood's product has been used in every Olympic competition since 1960. He is responsible for the modern diving board. Ryan Foltz is the first graduate of the UND Entrepreneurship Program. Are you next?
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering Degree Program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through online lectures and condensed on-campus laboratories.
It's convenient, it's flexible, and it's a quality education.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Welcome back to Studio One.
Thanks for joining us today.
Well, tax season is around the corner.
It is. I'm sure there's many people scrambling to get their taxes done.
Right, and there's many types of tax deductions out there, which
there are. I know there's for charitable donations is one, medical expenses,
right?
Certain things for traveling for businesses, all those sorts
well,
of things.
there's a somewhat of a new since the year 2002. Obesity is being considered a tax deduction.
I did not know that.
Actually, you need to have a doctor's permission, I guess, consult whatever, and then you can get a tax deduction from this. And actually, later on in the show, we are going to be going out and talking to people, finding out what they think about this topic.
Okay, excellent. Also coming up in the next 30 minutes on Studio One, the U.S. government is continually looking for ways to improve kids' education. We'll tell you why its latest effort is coming under fire.
Also, most drivers would be arrested if they drove over the vehicles in their path. In our Spotlight story, we'll introduce you to a man who gets to run over cars for a living.
And hearing loss is a concern for many people. We will talk to someone about what kinds of hearing aids are available and how they work. But before we get to all of that, here's today's news with Sarah Spencer.
Thanks, Monty and Carrie. An Amber Alert has been issued for a baby taken from the home of her temporary custodian in Miami. Officers say the 2-week-old girl was taken by her mother, Nicole Steverson. It is also believed the child's father may be with them. The baby was placed with a temporary custodian by Florida's Department of Children and Families early Wednesday. Hours later, the mother disappeared with the baby. She's thought to be driving a 1984 silver Toyota Corolla. The car may be stolen, and the father has a history of armed robbery and grand theft. A truck driver busy on a cell phone plummeted off a highway bridge in Pennsylvania on Thursday. He somehow survived a 60-foot plunge into the river below. Witnesses say the tractor trailer separated as it became airborne. The driver was able to crawl out of his submerged cab and make his way up the riverbank unharmed. More and more police departments are using technological advances to fight crime and decrease violence. One weapon that is becoming more common among law enforcement is the taser gun. Officers are using tasers as an alternative to their standard firearms. A taser gun shoots out 2 barbed prongs that attach to a person's clothing or skin. An officer then applies a 50,000-volt shock for 5 seconds to subdue the suspect. Police say that the charges given is not harmful, only leaving minor marks. They also say the sight of the gun is sometimes enough to deter criminals.
We have been told by other people and other organizations that have had these weapons at their disposal for some time that they will walk into a situation once they see the law enforcement officers there and they pull the tasers out, that they cease their activity.
According to the manufacturer of the guns, over 4,000 police departments around the U.S. use tasers. Emails are often full of ads and offers that most people find annoying. To curb this, Microsoft Chairman Bill Gates is proposing the purchase of stamps for email. Gates proposed the idea at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland as part of Microsoft's anti-spam strategy. Some companies have already begun to make plans for e-stamps. Good Mail Systems is planning on charging bulk mailers a penny a message to avoid junk mail. But internet analysts are worried that turning email into a financial service would weaken its communication value. The No Child Left Behind Act was created to make sure all students can receive a quality education, but now many people are concerned with how this is being done.
The No Child Left Behind Act, schools are required to show improvement. Improvement is measured by standardized tests that all students take. But some teachers are concerned with these standardized tests. One teacher says that a test should not be what measures an entire school.
I don't think that's a good indicator of how well teachers are doing and how well students are learning either, because there's a lot more that goes into learning than just paper and pencil tests.
Teachers are concerned that many students are not taking the test seriously.
It doesn't show up on their grades. We do put it on their transcripts, but colleges don't use it for admissions.
Low scores mean schools must offer their students tutors and the option of a transfer. Often, schools struggle to find funds to hire tutors. If the scores do not improve within 5 years, most or all of the staff may be replaced and the state can take over operation of the school. At the University of North Dakota, some students are so concerned with the negative effects that they have formed an organization to voice their opinion.
Trying to communicate to our representatives that there are people that are upset with it and that would like to see it change somehow.
The group will be going to Washington, D.C. this summer to protest the act. They believe the No Child Left Behind Act is jeopardizing students' education.
Teachers will begin to teach towards the test, and the students will really learn just enough to pass the test.
Although it was created to help kids, some feel the No Child Left Behind Act is actually pulling schools, teachers, and students farther behind. This is Leisha Kopp reporting for Studio One News.
If a state doesn't follow No Child Left Behind or fails to measure up, they can lose federal funding. But many states are choosing to ignore the act because they say the cost to implement it is greater than the funding they could receive. And that's news for now. Monty and Carrie?
Thanks, Sarah. Well, BJ was saying earlier in the weather segment that the entire nation was warming up. It looked really nice seeing that big blob of orange over the U.S.
Right, that means warm weather.
Yeah.
I'm thinking spring. I don't know about anyone else. So why don't we go to BJ Eisen at the Regional Weather Information Center and find out if we can keep on thinking spring.
Well, Monty and Carrie, spring-like events happening all across the nation. Temperatures are well above average for this time of year, and we're actually seeing our first shot of spring thunderstorms up here in the northern country, that is anyway. So let's check your weather for our viewing areas, and as you can see, most of our viewing areas, I guess except Minneapolis and Portland, will be seeing temperatures this week above their average temperatures. Otherwise, Minneapolis and Portland just having to deal with their normal average temperatures. So, local Portland forecast looks like this. They will be seeing occasional showers for the beginning of their week, but otherwise, with this trend we have going on, they will be seeing showers, then partly cloudy skies, then more showers, and the same goes for Minot, Bismarck. They will start off partly cloudy for these dates, but otherwise rain and possibly a few lingering snow showers for them after that. And then in Grand Forks and Fargo, they will start off with scattered storms and then continue with partly cloudy skies. So we're seeing this pattern back and forth. Same goes for Minneapolis, mostly cloudy and scattered showers. And then Winnipeg, showers for this week and lots of wind. The brilliant colors of the sky at sunrise and sunset are an amazing sight. But as the sun's position changes throughout the day, so do the colors in the sky.
A spectrum of colors can be seen as the sun blazes through the sky each day. Different color displays depend on the relationship between the sun and the atmosphere. There is truth to the saying, red sky at night, sailors delight, red sky at morning, sailors take warning. This refers to high and low pressure patterns.
That probably means that a high is off to your east and it's clear, which means that a low is probably to your west and stormy weather is coming towards you.
When the sun rises and sets, the light's wavelength is longest. This causes the color of the sky to look red and orange. During midday, when the sun is overhead, the wavelengths are shortest, causing the sky to appear blue. A prism breaks white light into the visible light spectrum. The same thing happens in the atmosphere after a thunderstorm when sunlight shines through water droplets in the air. This creates a rainbow. Reporting for Studio One, I'm Virginia Sticka.
So in order to see those rainbows, you need just the right conditions. You should first be positioned with the sun at your back and then have the droplets in the atmosphere out in front of you. Here's your Studio One Weather IQ question. What type of light becomes visible when all of the colors of the visible light spectrum are combined? And your answer is C, normal white light. Monty and Carrie, well, it looks like this week is going to continue with that pattern of showers and then partly cloudy skies. So very spring-like pattern we're having here across the nation.
Thanks, BJ. I guess I'll take rain. Rain's fine with me.
Rain is fine.
No snow.
Except probably a lot of people are thinking in this area to pull out the grills and the barbecues. And once it reaches 50, everybody gets all excited.
Shorts and all,
yeah. Exactly. Well, let's go to Greg Ankers with sports.
Thanks, Monty and Carrie. The sport of boxing has not received as much attention as other professional sports in recent history. However, those involved with boxing say it is an excellent source of conditioning and a fun time, even for kids.
When a parent is thinking of getting their kids involved in sports, boxing is not what normally comes to mind. However, for one group of young men and women, learning how to box has become part of their lives. Forks Fighters is a boxing organization based in Grand Forks, North Dakota that offers free training to people of all ages. Even young teenagers have come out to learn the subtleties of the sweet science.
I always wanted to be in boxing. I thought it was fun.
Despite the impressions of the sport that some people may have, precautions are taken to assure the safety of the fighters.
There's always safety, doctors on the ringside, and coaches make the right decision on when to stop the fights.
Boxing can be a rough sport, but according to boxers, it is no more dangerous than football or hockey.
There's always that chance of a kid getting knocked out, but I've been doing this for 10 years and I have yet to see even a kid get a broken nose.
All the kids involved with Forks Fighters believe that boxing is simply more fun than other sports and a better workout.
Well, you work harder in the box because you throw wild punches and get tired.
Although the reputation of boxing may not be as good as other sports, these young people have gotten something out of it that they can't get anywhere else. This has been Billy Fiedler reporting for Studio One Sports.
Sometimes when kids start boxing at an early age, it can lead to a career in the sport. Most professional boxers begin their training between the ages of 10 and 14. And now the answer to this week's Studio One Sports Trivia question. Who was the youngest player to score 50 points in an NBA game? And your answer is C, Rick Barry, who scored 57 points for the San Francisco Warriors when he was just 22 years old. And that's the sports. Monty and Carrie?
Thanks a lot, Greg. Sometimes it seems there aren't enough hours in the day. Businesses are taking advantage of this trend and are staying open longer. We'll look at some businesses who don't mind if you shop late at night.
Also, you wouldn't want to meet one on the road, but fans everywhere fill arenas to watch monster trucks in action. Coming up in our Studio One Spotlight, we'll tell you the story behind one of the drivers.
Wall Street has come to the prairie through the A. Kirk Lanterman Investment Center at the University of North Dakota. This state-of-the-art facility in the College of Business and Public Administration provides hands-on experience in the world of modern finance. Students learn how financial markets react with lightning quickness to world events. They use cutting-edge technology and real-time data from more than 200 financial markets around the world. The Lanterman Investment Center provides the tools to make a career out of an education.
There are many things to be found at the University of North Dakota School of Law. You will find a place with small class settings, an affordable place that offers student interaction with both the state and federal court systems. You will find a school that has averaged over 90% placement for its graduates the past 5 years. But most importantly, you will find the skills and experience you'll need throughout your legal career. Find your future at the University of North Dakota School of Law.
Need to plan an entire conference? Want to provide your employees with professional training and development? The Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota provides quality programs and services for career enhancement. Whether you want to attend educator workshops or need a certificate for your profession, the Division of Continuing Education can help you achieve success. Contact the Division of Continuing Education today and let us meet your professional needs.
You're watching Studio One, news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
You may have noticed that the number of 24-hour businesses are on the rise. According to USA Today, that's in part because of working parents and the internet, which allows us to buy at all hours. There's a certain type of person who is found shopping at night.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and while most people are dreaming away in their beds, others are grabbing their shopping carts. Maybe they just got off work, or maybe they're picking up something before work. Whatever the reason, chances are there's someplace in town that can help. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is no longer limited to convenience stores and gas stations. This Walmart, for example, in Grand Forks, North Dakota, is also open 24 hours.
I'm a night owl. I have a 5-year-old, so it's easy to shop when she's not with me.
But it's not just customers that find benefits in 24-hour businesses.
I work from 10 to 6, and I don't mind the shift because I'm a night person to begin with.
And if all this shopping has made you hungry, you're in luck. Grocery stores are also hopping on the 24/7 wagon, and all types of people have shopping needs at odd hours.
We get them all ages, all the way from just out of high school around 18 all the way up into their 70s and 80s.
Shopping this late at night also makes the shopping a little easier.
Less people to deal with, quicker to get in and out.
I think sometimes people work an evening shift, probably 3:30 to 11:30. It's kind of a nice option for people to get off work at that time, because a lot of the fast food restaurants aren't off at that time. So,
retail and grocers are not the only industries doing this. Businesses range from 24-hour hair salons to childcare providers to banks with real tellers. It's safe to say that the 24/7 marketplace is here to stay. With photographer Tyler Tupa, this is Bailey Nordine reporting for Studio One.
The concept of 24-hour businesses is not a new one. 7-Eleven opened their first 24-hour convenience store in Las Vegas in 1963. During tax time, many people anxiously await to see if they qualify for a refund. 2 years ago, the IRS declared obesity to be a disease. Americans who have doctor's orders for drastic weight loss through surgery or drugs can receive a tax deduction. This could help some people pay for surgeries not covered by their insurance. We wanted your thoughts on the new way taxes are trimming the fat.
I could see stop smoking or other things that people can control more, but not for weight issues. I disagree with that.
I mean, obesity is becoming a large problem in our country. I think sometimes people need more of a motivation, and this might help. But I also think that it might be unfair, like if people are not large, then they won't be able to have the opportunity to have this tax break.
Some of those surgeries are a little risky, and it's good for one individual, not good for another individual. And I guess I wouldn't want this to encourage more people to do it just because it's a tax incentive.
I don't really care about that whole issue because I like to be pretty thick, so I'm not the skinny type.
So it doesn't bother you?
No, I like to be wholesome.
Monster truck shows take place all over the U.S. Traveling from town to town can make it difficult for some drivers to have a family life. One monster truck racing team, however, finds that putting the two together is the perfect combination.
Every weekend, thousands of fans pack arenas across the U.S. to see a monster truck event. The trucks range from the more flashy commercialized machines to the less sponsored homemade models like this one. The truck Rolling Thunder was built by one driver and his family.
We started building our truck about 5 years ago, and it took me about 2.5 years to build it. We built it everything from the ground up.
Today, Jim and Rolling Thunder are in Grand Forks, North Dakota, getting ready to put on another show. It's no secret why Jim has been racing his truck for 3 seasons now.
And my adrenaline starts pumping just talking about it, or as soon as I hear the motor fire up.
Jim has not traveled alone. Every week, his wife and children come along with him in the family semi-truck. It's important to Jim to spend as much time as he can with his family for support.
They're the reason we're here, we did about 22 shows now, and out of all of them, the kids miss one show. My wife Lynn's been at all of them, so it's a family event,
In addition to the added support, Jim's wife Lynn brings along her excitement and nerves as she cheers her husband on.
Come on now, Jim, hit her hard! I'm pretty intense. I've had other wives at the shows kind of laugh, at how intense I can be watching the shows.
With Mom on the edge of her seat, the kids have a different take on watching their dad do his high-flying tricks.
It's really exciting watching him in the stands. I sometimes get a little nervous when he's out there, but it's not that bad.
I kind of hope that he rolls over someday because it'd be kind of fun to see.
But even with a name like Rolling Thunder, Jim has managed to always keep his truck on all fours. Well, almost, that is.
There's been 6 different times where we probably should have rolled over, that we had it 90 degrees. We had dirt on the side of the tires. That's how close we've been.
Near rollovers and spectacular action can take a toll on these trucks. As a driver trying to make a name for himself, Jim has no pit crew to assist him, but the family is always there to pitch in.
I'm usually up in the stands watching the show with the kids, but I'll kind of take note to if I see something there, if the truck sounds weird or looks like it's doing something wrong.
With the truck raring to go, it's all up to Jim to put on another show for the fans. But no matter how he performs, Jim says it's comforting to know that his family will be there for him when the night is over. With photographer Froda Tilden, this is Greg Ankers reporting for Studio One.
The Benzicks are making plans to build a second truck for their son, who will be eligible to drive in 5 years. When completed, Jim and Tyler would be the first father-son driving team in the history of monster truck racing. Also, hearing loss is a problem that many people face. Next, we'll talk to someone about choosing a hearing aid.
University of North Dakota. No matter what your schedule, no matter when you work, no matter what job you have now, this is your opportunity to accomplish your goals. Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota can work around your busy schedule. Bachelor and master's degrees are earned through convenient, flexible, and high-quality classes. Complete degrees are available online through correspondence study and on weekends and evenings. Earn a degree on your terms with Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota. Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
The UND College of Business and Public Administration is reaching out to rural America. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is working to connect you with important information you need. Use the internet to access government services such as employment opportunities, license renewals, applications for government benefits, and much more. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is funded with the support of the North Dakota Congressional Delegation. To learn how we are helping you get connected, visit go.ndgrow.com.
The School of Engineering and Mines at UND has a long history of preparing students for successful careers. Through small classes and faculty involvement, students have unique opportunities to gain hands-on experience. Here, students launch a weather balloon to test a remote imaging device destined for Earth orbit. Students can also become involved in wind energy and fuel cell projects, design, build, and race a Formula One car, or even develop a camera that will generate agricultural images from the International Space Station. Find out for yourself how you can get involved at UND School of Engineering and Mines.
Many people deal with hearing loss. Finding the right hearing aid that works for them can be a long process. There are many different hearing devices and ways to prevent hearing loss from happening. Hearing instrument specialist Brenda Haugen is here to give us some tips. Thank you for coming on the show today,
Hi.
Brenda. Well, first of all, what is the process that you have to go through to get a hearing aid?
Probably the easiest way is to start out with going to your family physician. Your general practitioner should be able to refer you to an audiologist or a hearing specialist to get your hearing tested. You need to know if you have a hearing loss before you can get a hearing aid. And at the same time that they're looking to find out if you have a hearing loss, they are also going to be looking to find out if you have a medical condition which could be causing the hearing loss. So you're going to conquer both things at the same time.
Okay. What is the more common ways that people lose their hearing? What's the most, the biggest cause, I guess, of hearing loss?
In this part of the country, more likely than not, it's loud equipment, farm equipment, being we are in a rural environment. John Deere tractors, farm equipment take the toll on the men. The older the people are, the more likely it's been because of that. The younger people coming up, the baby boomers, theirs is probably going to be rock concerts, Woodstock, and the loud music.
So it's the car stereos and that sort of thing. And
that's coming.
you wear hearing aids, and how has it helped you?
If I had not had hearing aids when I did, I would not be a functional adult. I would not have a job. I would not be married, and I more than likely wouldn't be married. Because if you can't hear, you can't communicate, you can't get a job that pays, you're pretty limited as to what you can do.
Yeah, so it opens up a whole new world.
Yep, it
now,
sure did.
How do you decide which hearing aid is best?
A lot of it used to be based on good old-fashioned common sense. With the advent of the technology and the digital technology and computerization, a lot of times the computer protocol will steer us in a particular direction as to that particular hearing aid can do certain things, and it will fit a particular kind of or shape of a hearing loss. Every hearing loss has different quirks and strong points or problem areas, and you try to find the hearing aid that's going to be able to deal with that issue. The more goofy the loss is, the more elaborate the hearing aid has to be in order to fit.
Okay.
Some hearing aids have more ability to adjust.
So you tailor them.
Yep, you tailor
very
them.
much so.
And we do that with a computer, and a computer right now is how you tweak that area or make it fit, or you've got too much here, you can tone it down. If you need more, you bring it up here.
Okay. Now, what kinds of aids are available for people? There's different kinds, I'm sure.
You mean like styles?
Yeah, and we have a picture actually that we want to show people with that.
The traditional hearing aid is the one behind the ear, the one on the far right. The one on the right side has the hearing aid actually sitting on top of the ear. You still have to have a way to get the sound into the ear, and consequently that's the ear mold, that piece of tubing thing coming down and goes into an ear mold. The next most popular and probably the most versatile is the middle one, called a canal aid, because it fits down into the canal of the ear. You have a huge array of compatibility there. It covers a lot of area, a lot of quirks, problems, and solves a lot of problems and issues. The one on the left is called a CIC, completely in the canal. And the reasoning again is because it's way down inside and you do not see it. There are advantages and disadvantages in every hearing aid. The one on the far right, the one behind the ear, is your most durable. It is also the one that is probably reserved for real tough situations.
Sure.
Hard hearing losses, hard losses to fit.
Well, and we have actually, you brought with you a picture of the human ear, and you're talking about the damage. Where does the damage usually occur in the ear?
In most cases, the damage is over here in this thing called the cochlea. This is what a lot of people refer to as the nerve. And the nerve is the mechanism. It's a very complex device. It takes the sound that comes through the ear. You have to get it in there.
Sure.
And then it has to get down here to your eardrum. And first type of hearing loss is usually because somebody has an ear infection, and not because the fluid or something happening here. And most of the time they can go through and put tubes in that canal through the eardrum and drain the infection out of it. If you can prevent the damage here, a lot of times it keeps it from going into the cochlea and the nerve and damaging the part that you can't get to.
Okay. And you talked a little bit about prevention. What are some tips that you can give people quickly to maybe stop things before they happen?
First of all, if you get an infection, get to your doctor. If you have a lot of loud equipment, make sure you wear earplugs. Headsets, earmuffs, anything. You need to reduce the level of the volume so that it's not louder than 85 decibels.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on the
You're
show
welcome.
today, Brenda. It was very interesting.
Thank you.
Thanks. You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be back right after this.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
Students in this interactive class at the University of North Dakota are learning together with other students from across the state. UND is committed to helping students take courses and even earn degrees without leaving home. I'm Charles Capcella, President of the University of North Dakota. For information on how you can get a UND education wherever you live, check our website at www.und.edu.
The Graduate School at the University of North Dakota is the premier graduate school of the Northern Great Plains, offering advanced degrees in more than 50 fields of study. Our innovative and flexible programs give full-time students, as well as working professionals, the opportunity to study under the guidance of nationally and internationally recognized faculty. Advance your career with a master's or doctoral degree from the Graduate School at the University of North Dakota.
The UND College of Business and Public Administration is reaching out to rural America. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is working to connect you with important information you need. Use the internet to access government services such as employment opportunities, license renewals, applications for government benefits, and much more. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is funded with the support of the North Dakota Congressional Delegation. To learn how we are helping you get connected, visit go.ndgrow.com.
Tune in next week on Studio One. Making others laugh is one job few people do well. We'll show you a group of individuals who consider laughing the ultimate reward. Plus, we'll have other news and entertainment stories for you.
We're going to leave you now with pictures of monster trucks, courtesy of Froda Tilden. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.